Hello traders, hello everyone, thanks for joining me here for another live webinar. My name is Olimpiu Tuns and I will be your host today. Please take a short moment to read the risk disclaimer before we'll get started. And please, someone, if you can confirm into the chat that you can hear me, so we can go on and continue. And also don't forget to write messages if you have any questions into the YouTube chat, and you can ask questions, and if you have opinions, if you have any suggestions, if you want me to look on a specific market, so please type your messages into the YouTube chat. Okay, thanks Adam. Okay, yes, we will talk about the GBP versus the Canadian dollar, and yeah, the position is still open. And let's start today our live webinar talking about our open positions and pending orders. So let's start with the New Zealand dollar versus the US dollar, or let's start with the GBP versus the Canadian dollar. Adam wanted to know if our long position and our take profit are still achievable. So as you can see here in our real trading account MT4, the price has jumped above the entry level. It was almost to reach the upper medium line of the minor ascending pitchfork. It has decreased a little, but the bias remains bullish. And let me show you GBP versus the Canadian dollar. So the buying position could still continue higher, and as you can see here, the price was trapped here within, yes, we'll talk about Nasdaq as well, about US 100. So the price GBP versus the Canadian dollar was trapped here within temporary range sideways movement. Here the price has registered only a false breakdown, again below the 61.8, below the weekly support, below the lower medium line, confirming the ascending pitchfork. And this rally, this aggressive breakout through this level 1.7435, also through the R2 towards the 38.2, has signaled that the pair could start a bullish reversal, could increase further in the short term. That's why we decided to go long. Okay, yes, we'll talk about Bitcoin as well. Thank you for all your messages. I will try to answer, and I will try to take a look on all markets, on all pairs and cryptocurrencies, indexes, commodities, and so on. So personally, I'm still expecting this pair to continue higher. Okay, after maybe a temporary consolidation here. A temporary drop, a decline was expected after this aggressive rally. Maybe the price will also retest the 38.2, maybe the medium line, before it will jump higher. Okay, and personally I believe that a valid breakout here above the R3, above this weekly resistance 1.7549, a new higher high will really confirm further growth towards our target. Also a valid breakout here above this upper medium line will signal that the pair will continue higher, so we'll keep this position open. Okay, and as I've told you, let's take a look also on the New Zealand dollar versus the US dollar. And as you already know, we have a buying position here. We closed at half, but we still have 50% in this pair. So we decided today to move our stop loss right below this former low, yeah, and to secure, to lock in plus 86 pips. Okay, so even if the price will drop and if we'll reach this stop loss, then our position, our long position, will close with 86 pips in profit. Okay, so let's take a look here on the New Zealand dollar versus the US dollar. I will delete this one from here because, as I've told you, we have a stop loss right below this low, and we deleted. We don't have a take profit for this pair, as you can see here in the MetaTrader, in our live account, real account. We don't have a take profit because we'll let this position ride, and if it continues to increase, we will move only our stop loss. Okay, so let's take a look here. The price has decreased a little, the New Zealand dollar versus the US dollar, after reaching this weekly resistance R1 0.7213. Only a false breakout here, that's why it has decreased a little, but the bias remains bullish. Okay, and personally I believe that if the price will jump above it, maybe stabilize, a new higher high will confirm a potential further growth here towards the weekly R2, okay, and towards the upper medium line of the ascending pitchfork here. And as you can see here, the price has confirmed a further growth here after decreasing a little here. It has failed to retest the medium line. We had a gap down, the price has closed at the gap down, signaling that it should move further higher. Okay, yes, we'll talk about the gold as well. Thank you, Adam. Okay, so that's it for the New Zealand dollar versus the US dollar. So we placed today here our stop loss right below this former low, locking in 86 pips in profit. Okay, and personally I still believe that it could continue higher. And let's continue with the New Zealand dollar versus the Canadian dollar. So we have a long position as well. Today I've placed the stop loss right below this former low to secure to lock 77 pips in profit here as well, and the price could continue further towards our target. Okay, and it could approach the 61.8 retracement level. Okay, let's take a look on the New Zealand dollar versus the Canadian dollar. So now the price is pressuring the weekly R1 resistance after registering a new higher high, after jumping above the former high. So technically the pair is strongly bullish and it could continue higher. It could take out the R1, the weekly resistance, R1 0.9021, and it could continue higher towards our target, as I've told you earlier. Okay, and here as well I've told you that we have our stop loss right below this former low, securing 77 pips in profit, guys. Okay, so this pair is bullish as well, and it could continue to increase, and maybe it will reach our target. Okay, okay, let's continue with our crude oil, or let's take a look on the GBP versus the US dollar. One moment, guys. GBP versus the US dollar. So we have here a long position as well, placed also in our real account. GBP versus the US dollar, the pair is bullish and it could continue to increase after this temporary decline. So the pair and the position runs in profit, as you can see here. Okay, and right now the price decreases a little, and we will talk about US oil as well. Thank you for all your messages. I will cover all the markets. So the price has rallied, has increased aggressively. It has escaped from this down channel, and here, after forming a new higher high here, after this false breakdown with great separation below the weekly support, it has signaled that it could escape from this pattern and it could continue higher. So the down channel is seen as a continuation pattern here. So personally, I'm expecting the pair to continue higher after maybe retesting the R2, maybe this former higher high 1.3918. So our stop loss is at break even, so our position is safe, but personally I believe that this pair could continue to increase. Okay, after this temporary drop it could continue to increase. Okay, let's talk about the US oil, about the crude oil. So the price has reached the entry level. It has decreased a little, but the bias is still bullish. US oil. So, as you already know from my previous live webinars or from my daily video analyses, the price was trapped here within a range. But here, this breakout above this minor downtrend line signaled that we may have a further increase. It has escaped from this range. It has jumped right above the medium line. It has retested the medium line, so validating the breakout, the upside breakout. Okay, so that's why we believe that the crude oil could still increase, right? After this valid breakout here above the medium line, we still believe that the US oil could continue to increase, and maybe it will approach and reach the upper medium line of the descending pitchfork here. Okay, but we have here a first and an immediate upside target at the R1 65.04. so let's see how the price reacts when it reaches this immediate target here. Okay, so the bias is bullish and the price could still continue to increase, even if the price has dropped right below the entry level. Our stop is right below the former lows, the immediate lows. Okay, yes, we will talk about gold right after oil. Okay, and then we will talk about another open position, or we talked about GBP versus the Canadian dollar. So let's talk about our pending orders, and let's start with gold. Okay, so let's talk about gold, guys, and let's take a look here on the 4-hour chart. Unfortunately, the price failed here to stabilize right above the medium line. So now we had a temporary decline, and maybe you are wondering why we placed that the buy stop position in gold, as you can see here, right above the immediate highs, and we are still waiting for the price to reach our entry level, right? And as you can see here, the price has dropped right below the lower medium line, and we have a buy stop right above these former highs here. Here we have an important support zone. We have the weekly pivot 1761.41, also the 50% retracement level. So maybe the price of gold will be rejected from this support area, and then it will continue to increase. Okay, so even if the price will maybe register a false breakdown below the pivot point, below the 50%, then it could continue higher. Okay, or maybe we'll have something like a sideways movement here, and then the price could jump above the immediate highs before continuing higher. Okay, so that's why we decided to place that buy stop right above the immediate highs, because this decline, the current decline, could be only a temporary one, right, before it will continue to move higher. Okay, 1755 is seen as a strong static support. So even if the price will drop to test retest, or if it will register only false breakdown below these levels here, the bias remains bullish, and gold continue to increase after this temporary and short-term decline. Okay guys, so even if the price will retest this, then it could continue to increase. And personally, I believe that gold, the price of gold, could continue to increase in the upcoming period, also because the US dollar could continue to drop. And let's take a look here on the DXY, on the US dollar index. As you already know from my previous live webinars or from my video analyses, I've told you that the breakdown here below the 50%, below the lower medium line, could send the price towards the S2, the weekly support. It has found a support. Yes, we'll talk about the Canadian dollar versus the Swiss franc right after talking about here about the US dollar index. Thank you guys for all your messages. And we will talk also about the US 100, about Bitcoin, about other Forex pairs or commodities or indexes or cryptocurrencies. Okay, so the price of gold could continue to increase if the DXY, the US dollar index, will continue to drop, right? So it has found temporary support right on the weekly S2, 90.96. We also have here a static support. We had a top here, and now the DXY has bounced back, has rebounded. It has printed here, as you can see, a bullish engulfing right on this support area, right on the 150% Fibonacci line, and now it could approach the immediate resistance here, represented by the S1. But unfortunately for the US dollar, the bias is still bearish here after dropping from the ascending pitchfork's body. Let's draw another one here, another pitchfork. Let's select another color. Okay, so the price has decreased, and now it has found support right below this lower medium line of the descending pitchfork. But as I've told you earlier, this could be only a temporary rebound, a temporary increase. Yes, I've talked about gold, but I can take a look again. Thank you. Okay, so if the DXY will register here only a temporary drop, and then maybe it will retest this one, this support, this former support, and if it will drop right below the S2 weekly support, right below 90.94, below the lower medium line, below the 150%, if it will retest these levels, then it could continue to drop, okay, towards S3, towards 78.6, towards this one, 150% Fibonacci line. So a further drop here registered by the DXY, by the US dollar index, will signal and will indicate that the US dollar will continue to depreciate versus the other major currencies. And this scenario could bring us a new upside momentum on gold. As I've told you here, gold has decreased a little. It could retest all these support levels, former resistance area, before jumping higher. Okay, so gold is still bullish. That's why we decided to open a buy stop pending order, okay, to place a buy stop pending order. Yes, we will talk about the Australian dollar versus the Japanese yen, but first of all, I had other messages here. One moment, guys, and let's take a look on the US 100. Okay, and I will delete this one from here. One moment, guys, sorry for this. Okay, so let's take a look on the US 100 on the Nasdaq, and I've posted today a video analysis on the US 100, and as I've told you there in that video analysis, and as you can see here on the daily chart, we have a strong uptrend here. I've drawn here a descending pitchfork after selecting 1, 2, 3 points, 3 pivots. The price has decreased, but it has failed to reach the medium line of this descending pitchfork, signaling a potential rebound towards the upper medium line. As I've told you in my previous webinars, live webinars, or in our trading tutorials, video tutorials, I've told you that when the price fails to reach the medium line, then we could have a move in the opposite direction. Okay, so the price failed here to reach the medium line, so we expected an increase towards the upper medium line, and now the price has jumped above the upper medium line. It has registered a breakout above it, so signaling that it could continue to increase, right? And let's take a look here on the 4-hour chart. So the price has increased, has reached a new historical high. It has increased as much as 14,074. It has decreased a little, and here we had the previous all-time high, historical high. So maybe the price has decreased a little to test and retest this one here before it will jump higher. Okay, and as I've told you also in my analysis, in my video analysis, I've told you that if the price will consolidate here, maybe right above this upper medium line, I will drag this one here. Okay, so this is the upper medium line, this black line, and maybe if it will stabilize right above the weekly S1 static support, above, if it stays right above the former low 13,787, then it could continue to increase. Okay, so personally I believe that if the price will increase, if it will stabilize right above the pivot point, if it makes a new higher high, then it could continue to increase in the upcoming period. But if we'll have, and if we'll get a confirmation, and if we will have a new long entry here, a new buying opportunity signal, we will send you the signal, the new buying signal on the US 100 on the VIP Telegram group, guys. Okay guys, so this could be only a temporary consolidation before the price resumes its growth, because the index is traded right below the new historical high, and it could move sideways in the short term, trying to accumulate more bullish energy and to attract more buyers. Okay, very important. And as I've promised, guys, in the former live webinars, I've told you that I really want to open trades also here during these live webinars, in my live webinars. So here is my setup for you today, guys, on the euro versus the New Zealand dollar. I will also place a trade here, and this is only for you guys, for those who are live today in this live webinar. So I will update you on this position, selling position, but I will not post the trade, the sell stop into the VIP group. This is only for you, and you can open this trade here with me. So personally, let's take a look here on the daily chart. So here we have a downtrend, okay, on the euro versus the New Zealand dollar, and we had only a temporary rebound. Okay, so we had a temporary rebound, and now, as you can see here, the price is almost to get out. It could register a valid breakdown from the up channel. The up channel is seen as a continuation pattern. This up channel here, also it could drop right below the medium line of the descending pitchfork, and here we have also a potential double top, a reversal pattern as well. So that's why I want to place a sell stop on euro versus the New Zealand dollar, and so we'll place a sell stop at 1.6660. So I will go here on my MetaTrader 4, and I will place, using 0.01 volume, so pending order, sell stop at 1.6660. We'll use on this trade, on this sell stop, to take profits. That's why I will open two trades, okay, one for each take profit. So the stop loss is at 1.68 and 10, and our first take profit will be at 1.65 and 10. So I will place this here, sell stop, and I will come back here, and as you can see here, this is the first setup with a risk to reward 1-on-1. So sell stop at 1.6660. The stop loss will be here at 1.6810, and our first take profit here 1.65 and 10. Okay, so if the price will get out from this up channel, if it drops right below the former lows, then it could continue to drop, and we want to hide our stop loss right above the weekly pivot, right above 1.6804, right above this immediate high. Okay guys, and as I've told you, we'll use two take profits, and our second take profit will be here at 1.6350. okay, and I will go back to my platform, to our real account, and I will place another sell stop with the same size, volume, risking less than 1% on this trade. Sell stop, let's hurry guys here. So sell stop at 1.6660, stop loss 1.68 and 10, and our second take profit will be at 1.6350. okay, sell stop, and let's place it. Okay, so we have the same entry here, the same stop loss, and we'll use to take profits, and that's why I've decided to open two trades on this pair, euro versus the New Zealand dollar, because I want to use to take profits. Each trade will have a different take profit. Okay guys, and as I've promised you, yes, we will talk also about the Australian dollar versus the Japanese yen, also about the Canadian dollar versus the Swiss franc. But first of all, let me take a look also on US dollar versus the Japanese yen, because we have pending order here, and also on the US 2000 on Russell, because we have a pending order here as well. And then I will talk about the Australian dollar versus the Japanese yen, about the Canadian dollar versus the Swiss franc, and also about the cryptocurrencies, also about Bitcoin, Ether, and if you have any other suggestions. Okay, let's take a look here on the US dollar versus the Japanese yen. I'm glad that we decided to open that trade live here, only for you guys, only for those who are live in this webinar. And we'll continue opening trades in our upcoming live webinars. So let's take a look here on the US dollar versus the Japanese yen. The price has rebounded from this medium line, from right below the weekly support, because the US dollar index, the DXY has jumped, has rebounded, has bounced back. I've showed you earlier. So that's why we decided to place a buy stop here right above today's high, and let's see if the price will reach our entry level and if it will continue higher. Maybe it will test and retest here the weekly support, the S1 at 108.30, also the medium line before jumping higher. So the pair, yes, we will talk about Ripple as well. Thank you for all your messages. After we'll talk about the US dollar versus the Japanese yen, and I will take a look also on Russell because we have buy stop there as well. Okay, and maybe the price will retest the immediate support levels, and it could jump higher if the US dollar index will increase. Okay, in the short term, if the US dollar index will increase, if it will jump higher, then the US dollar versus the Japanese yen could jump higher as well in the short term. And if the price will fail to jump above the immediate high, if it will drop and stabilize right below the S1, below the medium line, then it could continue to drop with an immediate target here at the S2 at the 38.2 retracement level. Yes, we'll talk about US dollar versus the Singapore dollar. Okay, let's take a look also on Russell. So we still have here a pending order, a buy stop. Unfortunately, and as you can see here, the price has found strong resistance right at the upper medium line of the descending pitchfork. As you can see here, test, retest, only false breakouts, and now the price has decreased again. That's why we decided, guys, to place our buy stop here on US 2000 on Russell right above these former highs. Okay, so we have a long entry here, and we'll keep this open, this pending order, this buy stop. We will close it, we'll delete it only if the price will continue to drop here, and if it reaches our stop loss here, then this pending order will be invalidated. Okay, so if the price will find support here on the S1, on the weekly S1 2212.10, then it could jump, and maybe if it will register a valid breakout above this upper medium line, above this dynamic resistance, if it will come back above the medium line of the ascending pitchfork, then it could reach our entry and it could continue to increase. Okay, guys, I had a few messages here. Let me take a look, and because I really want to answer to all your questions. And let's take a look on Bitcoin. Okay, guys, so Bitcoin, the price action has developed here, rising wedge, potential reversal pattern. It has failed here to stabilize right above the former all-time high. It has reached a new all-time high, a new historical high here at 64,895.22. It has failed here to stabilize right above the weekly resistance R1, and as you can see here, it has dropped aggressively, and now it has escaped from this rising wedge, right? It has found support right at 51,541.16. It has increased to retest the weekly pivot. It has increased again, and now it could, personally I believe that the Bitcoin price, the price of Bitcoin could move sideways in the short term. And personally I believe that a larger corrective phase will be confirmed, validated only if the price will drop here right below this former low to form a new lower low. Then it could continue to drop, and maybe it will drop towards 43,021, but the buyers are still strong, guys. Okay, so this drop right below the pivot point, right below the uptrend line, it is not enough for us to consider going long here, because we had this one here, this false breakdown with great separation, okay, below former lows, below this 150% Fibonacci line. So the price could move sideways here before it could try to increase again. And if the price will jump here right above the pivot point, below the immediate high, test retest, then it could increase a little in the short term. And if we'll have a long entry or a selling position, we will come back to you guys and we will send you the signals into the VIP Telegram group. Okay, so personally I need a confirmation here before I will consider going long, or before I'll consider going short on Bitcoin. Okay, yes, I will go over the I will take a look also on the Dow Jones, but first of all let's take a look. I have a few messages here. So Bitcoin, okay, let's talk about the Canadian dollar versus the Swiss franc. So let's take a look here on the weekly, and as you can see here, the price has increased, has reached a major downtrend line. So now it has developed here a major bearish engulfing, signaling a potential correction here, a potential downside movement here as well. And let's take a look here on the 4-hour chart. So the drop is natural here after reaching this one here, major. One moment guys, sorry for this one here. So major downtrend, line. Okay, only a false breakout. And personally I've decided to draw here a descending pitchfork, hoping that I'll catch a downside movement. So we had a drop below the medium line. The price has reached here the lower medium line of the descending pitchfork. It has dropped right below the former lows, indicating potential further drop. But as you can see here, the price has printed here a bullish engulfing right on the lower medium line, signaling a potential rebound. But personally I believe that if the price will drop right below this low and right below the S2, the weekly support 0.7277. So if we'll have something like this, maybe retest here of the lower medium line, drop, maybe retest, then it could continue to drop. Okay. Yes, we talked about oil. Yes, we still have a long position on oil. So if the price will drop and stabilize right below the lower medium line of the descending pitchfork, to get out from the pitchfork body, to stabilize right below it, to drop and close right below this low here, to close right below S2, then it could continue to drop here. Okay. And if you want to identify here a few potential downside targets, you can draw here a Fibonacci retracement. So as you can see here, the price has dropped and it has found support on the 38.2, and as I've told you, if the price will drop, stabilize right below the 38.2, below the lower medium line, below the S2, then it could continue to drop with a potential target here at the, with the next target at the 50% retracement level, guys. And we will use also this one here, a first warning line of the descending pitchfork, which could be used as a downside target as well. Okay, that's it here. And also, if the price will retest here, if it will stabilize right above the 38.2, test retest, only false breakdowns here below these immediate support levels, then it could increase a little in the short term. Okay, let's talk also about the Australian dollar versus the Japanese yen. Thank you, Linda, for your message. Okay, and let's take a look here as well. The Japanese yen has increased today versus its rivals only because, let's take a look on Nikkei, on the Japanese stock index, and as you can see here, the Nikkei, it has dropped aggressively. So this drop, when the Nikkei drops, the yen increases versus its rivals. You should know that, and you can use this in trading. Okay, this correlation. So if the Nikkei will continue to drop, then the Australian dollar versus the Japanese yen could drop further as well. But let's see how the price will react here. I've drawn another uptrend line here. The price has decreased here, and now it has retested the upper medium line of the descending pitchfork after failing to stabilize right above the 150%, after failing here to close and stabilize to make a valid breakout above the weekly pivot. And let's see how the price will react here, because it could reach this confluence here, this confluence area, and if the price will register only a false breakdown here, if the Nikkei, the stock index, the Japanese stock index, will register only a false breakdown here below this confluence area, if it will print a reversal pattern, a false breakdown, a pin bar, a bullish engulfing, or any other reversal pattern here on this confluence area, then the stock index could jump higher, and the potential increase here registered by the Nikkei could force the Japanese yen to decline versus the other currencies. Okay, and let's go back here. Australian dollars versus the Japanese yen. Sorry guys. And so the bias is bullish. As you can see here, we have an uptrend. Personally, I've drawn here a descending pitchfork. The price failed to reach the medium line. Here we had a valid breakout. The price has retested the upper medium line. And now, personally, I wanted today maybe to send you a signal here, a buy stop, right above this high here, but unfortunately the price failed to close above the R1. It has registered only a false breakout through 84.47, and now it declines. As I told you, the pair decreases as the Nikkei goes down in the short term. So if we'll have another long entry, I will send you the signal into the VIP Telegram group. Okay, so the price could continue here to move sideways, and personally I believe that if it will drop and stabilize right below the weekly pivot 83.85, and if it will register a valid breakdown below the lower medium line, then it should drop deeper, okay, towards this former low here. Yes, we will talk also about Ripple, US dollar versus the Singapore dollar, about Dow Jones, and also about the GBP card. We talked about the GBP versus the Canadian dollar. Okay, and so personally I believe that only an increase here, a breakout, a valid breakout here above 84.47, above the R1, the weekly R1, a new higher high could confirm a potential growth here and could bring us a new long entry, a new potential buying opportunity here. Okay guys, let's continue here with Ripple. And as you can see here, we have a temporary drop, maybe a temporary drop. Let's draw here a Fibonacci retracement, and as you can see, the price has decreased, has found support right on the 50% retracement level. It has rebounded, it has retested the pivot point, the weekly pivot, and now it has retested again the 50% retracement level. One moment guys, and let's take a look here again on the euro versus the New Zealand dollar. The price is trading in the red, it decreases, and it could reach our sell stop pending order, our entry price. Okay, and I will update you guys into the VIP Telegram group, and I will give you further instructions if the euro versus the New Zealand dollar will reach the entry level. Okay, so Ripple has found support right on the 50% retracement level, and now it could move sideways. And as you can see here, the price failed to approach the weekly support. We had only a false breakdown here, retest, and now it could increase in the short term. Yes, we will talk right after this, or right after talking about Ripple. We will talk about the US dollar versus the Singapore dollar in the coming minutes. So the price could increase in the short term, but personally I would like to see here something like a valid breakout above this minor downtrend line before going long. Okay, even if the price failed here to stabilize right below the 50%, its failure to approach the weekly support signals and indicates that the buyers are still strong and that Ripple could increase again. Okay, personally I would like to see something like this, a valid breakout, maybe a new higher high here before considering going long, or maybe we had something here. Let me delete this one here, and maybe we had a long entry here in the short term after the price it has retested the 50% retracement level, and after this breakout here maybe we had a long entry, but this one will be only an intra-day trade on the short term after closing above this former high, and now it could increase. As I've told you, it could approach the 38.2 and the downtrend line. Okay, so Ripple maintains a bullish perspective. It remains bullish despite this drop here. Ripple, Ether, Litecoin, and the other altcoins dropped only because the price of Bitcoin has decreased in the short term. And as I've told you also when I've talked about Bitcoin, I've told you that Bitcoin could increase in the short term as well. That's why Ripple could jump higher as well. Okay, and let's take a look on the US dollar versus this one here. So personally I've had here a selling position. I will delete this one here from here, and as you can see here, the price has decreased after dropping from this pattern here, from this triangle, after ignoring the weekly pivot, and now it has reached the medium line of the descending pitchfork, right? So as I've told you in my tutorials, in my previous webinars, the price I've decided here to draw a descending pitchfork, 1 2 3. The price has decreased, has moved sideways, has retested the upper medium line, and here a new lower low. The breakdown from this triangle has confirmed a drop here on this pair with a potential target, as you already know, at the medium line. The price has found support right on the S2, 1.3261, rejection, and now it could increase a little, but the bias remains bearish, guys, because as I've told you earlier when I've talked about the DXY, about the US dollar index, if the US dollar index will drop further, then this pair will continue to drop. Okay, so we could have a temporary rebound here, but the bias is still bearish, and personally I will look for a long entry only if the price stabilizes right above the medium line, above the S2. Maybe if the price moves sideways here, test, retest, false breakdowns below the medium line, below the S2, if it fails to make a new lower low, and then maybe we could look for a buying opportunity. But right now the pair is bearish, and you should know that if the price drops and makes a valid breakdown here, then it could continue to drop. This scenario could take shape, guys, if the US dollar index will continue to drop, then the dollar will depreciate further. Okay, so a valid breakdown below the medium line, below the S2, a new lower low, it could confirm a further drop. Okay, and I promised you guys that we will take a look also on the US, on the Dow Jones Industrial Average Index. The index has decreased, maybe, so we have an uptrend here, as you already know. Dow Jones, the US 30, has reached a new historical high. It has increased as much as 34,271. It has failed to approach the weekly resistance, and now it's traded right below the weekly pivot, 34,000. So it could develop a minor retreat, minor correction after this important growth here. Okay, so I will personally, I'll wait for a decrease here, or a retreat, and we'll see how long this retreat will be. And personally I will look for buying opportunities after this correction will end. Okay, so personally I'll wait for the price to drop before I'll go long again, because we want to follow the uptrend, okay, and go with the trend. We will search for long entries, long opportunities after the price will confirm that it has ended its correction. Okay, okay, let me take a look, guys. Thank you for all your messages on the, yeah, gold triggered. It has reached our entry level without testing and retesting these support levels. So it could jump higher, and if it will close here on the 4-hour chart right below the medium line, then it could continue maybe with a potential target here at the R1. If the price jumps and stabilizes right above the medium line, then it could continue higher. And let me take a look here on the dollar index again. And as I've told you earlier, sorry guys, as I've told you, if the DXY, the dollar index, if the dollar index will drop again, then the price of gold will jump higher as well. Sorry, if the dollar index will drop, after this temporary rebound, then the price of gold will increase, okay, because a drop here will force the dollar to depreciate, to drop versus the other currencies. Okay, and let me take a look also on the Ethereum, on Ether. And as I've told you in my previous webinars, live webinars, also in my video analysis, I've told you that the price has reached here the upside line of the up channel, a strong resistance area. It has failed here to close above the R1, above the weekly resistance. It has retested here the upside line and now it has decreased, but the bias remains bullish. As you can see, the price is still trapped within this up channel. It has decreased, it has registered only a false breakdown here below 2040.62, below this former historical high. So it could move sideways here before, and personally I believe that if it will jump and stabilize right above the weekly pivot, a new higher high here, it could maybe bring an important growth here in the short term. Okay, but personally, even if the price will increase here in the short term, personally I want to see something like this, guys. Okay, so jump, stabilization right above the pivot, and then a valid breakout here above the second warning line of the former descending pitchfork. Okay, so the price failed here to stabilize right above the warning line. So now I want to see a valid breakout above this dynamic resistance before the price will continue to increase. Okay, but I believe here that a new higher high could send the price right above the warning line. Okay, and this level here, 2040.62, represents an important support. Also, so we have an important support area here between 2040 and the weekly S1, 1944.63, guys. Okay, so as long as the price, as long as Ether stays right above it, then it could continue to increase. Okay, GBP versus the Canadian dollar. The price has decreased a little, as I've told you at the beginning of this webinar. After this aggressive rally, it could retest this immediate support level below before jumping higher. So the bias is still bullish, and we will keep this one open, this buying position. Okay, gold triggered as well. US oil, and guys, we'll close and we'll end our webinar soon. Okay, it has decreased, the US oil, it has decreased, but it could still increase. As I've told you, here we had a valid breakout right above this medium line of the descending pitchfork, a new higher high. So this decline here could be only a temporary one before the price jumps higher again. And personally, I believe that if the US dollar will decline further after the temporary rebound, then the US oil could increase here. Okay, and let's take a look again on the US, on the euro versus the New Zealand dollar, because we placed a trade here, a sell stop, guys, right? So for those who joined us we opened and we placed a sell stop here on the euro versus the New Zealand dollar. So sell stop at 1.6660. So sell stop right below the former lows, because the price could escape from this up channel. We also have here a double top. The stop loss is here at 1.6810, and our first target, downside target, is at 1.6510. And here we have the same setup, the same entry, 1.6660, the same stop loss, 1.6810, and we have another downside target, a second target at 1.63 and 50. Okay, and let's wait and see if the price will reach our sell stop pending order, and I will come back with instructions on the VIP Telegram group, guys. Okay, and we will talk about this one here in the next live webinar. Okay, guys, so thank you guys for joining me here, and don't forget that you can subscribe to our YouTube channel